Okay, welcome back to InsideFlix. It's time for our weekly box office report. This is where we dive into the details of the last weekend's box office numbers. So without further ado, let's get the ball rolling. Rich, tell us which movies made the top 5 at this past weekend.
Coming in number 1 this weekend is Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse, earning $120 million. Coming in number 2 is The Little Mermaid with $41.3 million. Coming in number 3 is The Boogeyman with $12.3 million. Number 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with $10.6 million. And rounding out the top 5 is Fast X with $9.5 million.
Yeah, so when the summer box office season kicked off, I said this last week that, it looked kind of lackluster, especially the last couple of weeks. But man, oh man, like Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse came out swinging and totally rocked the box office with this really astounding opening. And it kind of surpassed all the studio's projections. And it's officially the top summer movies opener so far.
Right. Just surpassed the Guardians of the Galaxy.
And it's the second biggest opening weekend of the year behind Super Mario Brothers. And it's the third best opening for a Spider-Man movie behind 2021 Spider-Man No Way Home and 2007 Spider-Man 3. So this is exactly what the box office needed right now. Could this be the jolt that to get things back on the right track?
I think so. I mean, this is a phenomenal number. I mean, I was not expecting it to, surpass Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but it did. And it's kind of crazy that the two biggest films of the year are kind of animated, kind of children's films. It's insane. It really speaks that, families are going to the movies, and that's kind of what's saving movie theaters, really. Families all going to see these movies together.
Yeah, and it had a small drop on Sunday, so that's always a positive sign when a film only drops just a touch on Sunday, under 20% basically.
Uh-huh.
So that just seems that it's got such great word of mouth, and fans are most likely going to see it again and again. Also, the film is doing strong internationally. It's not opening up in all markets just yet.
Slow rollout.
It still has more territories to open. So
yeah, it's looking pretty good for Spider-Man.
Okay, let's talk about Little Mermaid. Now, Little Mermaid slipped down to second place with a 56 drop. That's a significant decline there.
It is, but I was personally kind of expecting it to have an over 60% drop. So I think 56.7, it's not bad. It's still number 2 in the box office. And again, it speaks to, how these family movies are really kind of saving the theaters.
Yeah, so The Little Mermaid is holding up decently enough in the domestic market, but it's still international numbers that, are dragging it down.
Yes, that's very unfortunate for that movie.
And then there could be a lot of factors at play here. It could be, what we've been hearing about those unfair review bombing, and I think that's taking effect. And also, I think there's a fatigue factor here with Disney's live action remakes. I think people have become tired of it.
Yeah, I know. Personally speaking for myself, I am very tired of these Disney kind of live action remakes, especially the ones that the last couple that they put on Disney Plus. I was like, wow, I can't believe they actually produced this. And while people are saying Little Mermaid is, slightly better than some of those, I think a lot of us, are just kind of tired of them and kind of burnt out.
Well, some fans are mad that they did some changes to the music portions of the Little Mermaid, so that could be affected it too, because by now there would have been some songs that hit the children's airwaves or whatever that would been hit.
That's a good point, right?
Yeah, like similar to Encanto.
Yeah, so yeah, the movie's definitely probably not doing international in the numbers that Disney wanted, but you can't argue with those domestic numbers. It's definitely a hit here in the States.
So let's talk about The Boogeyman. This pretty much opened as expected, maybe a little tad lower than what the studios were hoping for.
Oh, wow. They were actually hoping it would be open bigger than this?
I think it just opened a little bit lower than what they projected. It still proves like there's a demand for these mid to low budget horror films. And most likely it's going to rank in enough money to make back its budget and stuff like that. So, look, it's not the ultimate breakout horror hit of the summer.
Well, I mean, the movie didn't look that great to begin with, and it got pretty, mediocre reviews. Yeah. So I think, they should be happy with that number. The movie's going to make a profit.
Well, like I said earlier, the drop on Sunday was 30%. So, yeah, I see The Boogeyman dropping out of the top 5, out of the top 10 really quick.
Yeah, me too. Oh, wow. I'm actually seeing right now the movie cost $35 million. Yeah, maybe it will make its budget back.
Yeah. No, and I think there's still a couple more horror movies lined up for the summer season, and I think one of them will definitely kind of become the the breakout hits. You know, we haven't seen it yet so far, but well, let's talk a little bit about the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. What's your thoughts?
Well, it just surpassed the Guardians Volume 1. That's it. That's the goal they needed. It's most likely going to be the number one film in the trilogy. So
you think the movie has another 100 million in it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's great, because I do really want it to be, you know, the most the biggest grosser, I should say, of the trilogy. Mm-hmm. And I was starting to think that maybe it wouldn't make it, but I mean, yeah, hopefully it does. I mean, still number 4. I love this movie. I think it's you know, so far the best comic book movie I've seen this year, and I haven't really liked the Marvel movie in a long time. So I think, you know, if you haven't seen the movie yet, you should definitely check it out. It's worth seeing in theaters.
Yeah, I got to tell you, the Fast X took me by surprise this week.
Oh,
yeah.
It's already in its 3rd week, and it's barely hanging on in the top 5 at the box office. And I'm like, wow, you know, by the time next week rolls around, it's probably going to be out of the top 5 completely. And that's crazy fast. You know, no pun intended, but
yeah, because I mean, Transformers coming out this weekend. I mean, I feel like that's the same audience almost for Fast X. And like this new one, like it's going to be more international. You know, it's, you know, part of it's in Peru, and you got Anthony Ramos in there this time, and I feel like it takes some of that Fast audience this time. Like it's going for the Latino audience.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
but then again, just like Little Mermaid, the Transformers has no real big stars attached to it at all, other than, you know, Pete Davidson's voice. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes a little under than expected.
But I think it's going to eat Fast X's numbers.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
And I think the only saving grace that Fast X has right now is that it's doing exceptionally well in international markets.
Right.
I mean, I think that's the only thing that really is saving them from being like really a underperforming blockbuster. I mean, maybe you would even say it's not a blockbuster if it wasn't for those numbers that they're getting from worldwide audiences.
And from what I heard, there's rumors that Fast X might actually hit VOD on as early as Friday. So,
well, that just says like they have totally kind of given up on the domestic release, and maybe it's time for them to bail out or something. I don't know.
But that's crazy that if that's rumors true, and I kind of believe it. That's super crazy, because I mean, piracy is still a thing internationally, and I just don't know why Universal would do that right now. But I mean,
we'll see if it's true. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we'll see. All
right, let's move on. And Rich, could you now reveal the remaining films that made the top 10 at the box office?
Okay, well, for the first time, the Super Mario Brothers comes in on 6th place. Coming in number 7 is About My Father. Number 8 is The Machine. Number 9 is You Hurt My Feelings. And round out the top 10 is Kandahar.
And we should also add that Past Lives opened at number 12. This is the new critically acclaimed A24 film that has a lot of buzz around it. It came in number 12 with a decent per screen average.
Oh, yeah, pretty high. And a lot of good word of mouth.
Some people are saying that it's the best movie of the year.
Yeah. And for A24, they're going to, of course, release it in more theaters coming up soon. So we'll see how that does.
So this could be a surprise hit for A24.
Right.
Let's keep things moving. Rich, let's talk about the upcoming weekend. So tell us what movies are coming out in big screens in wide release.
The only movie coming up wide is Transformers Rise of the Beast, which we already mentioned. This is the latest installment in the Transformers film franchise, where Optimus Prime and the Autobots join forces with Optimus Primal and the Maximals to defend Earth against a gigantic planet-eating alien transformer.
Transformers Rise of the Beast is tracking for a 68 million to 70 million box office opening. I think that's what Paramount is projecting, which would be on par with what Fast X opened at for its first weekend. So there's a similarity there. If it does open in those numbers, it would be a little bit higher than Transformers The Last Night and also Bumblebee, which didn't do, those two movies didn't do well.
Yeah, they were the biggest, underperformance in the franchise. I mean, it's a franchise that's kind of been dipping in box office and revenue for a while, mostly because, the qualities of the movies kept getting worse. Mm-hmm. But, they've been turning things around, because Bumblebee was a big step up from the last few Transformers movies, and everyone's saying that this is, I think the best one yet. So I guess fingers crossed for them that it just has legs, I guess, and has good word of mouth.
Well, if it doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised if Across the Spider-Verse will actually hit number one again. I mean,
Oh, wow.
I mean, if it might be close. I mean, if Transformers doesn't have those, good reviews popping up soon, I wouldn't be surprised if Spider-Verse takes it. I mean, with maybe like a 50 plus opening, and then Transformers will be close with right under it. But we'll see.
It could follow a similar path to Fax X, where it performs better in international markets, and then we'll see it struggling at the U.S. box office.
Yeah, and then maybe Spider-Man would have like the more would be the bigger hit domestically.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're right. I think a lot of fans have kind of lost interest in the franchise, especially after so many movies. And maybe this is going to be a case of a little too little, too late. It is. I should say it is getting like really good early reactions from critics. People are saying, saying a lot of positive things about the movie. So maybe it's going to turn out to be a sleeper hit. Who knows?
That's the same old critics.
Well, let's talk about the limited release. Rich, what movies are coming out in limited release?
Coming out in limited release is The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. This is the new horror satire that draws inspiration from Mary Shelley's classic Frankenstein, about a young, brilliant woman who believes she can defeat death by embarking on a quest to bring her deceased brother back to life. Also coming out in limited release, Mending the Line. This is the new inspirational drama that stars Cinqua Walls from the recent White Man Can't Jump remake as a wounded veteran who discovers the therapeutic qualities of fly fishing. Succession actor Brian Cox also co-starred. And finally coming out in limited release is Dollyland. This is the new biopic from American Psycho director Mary Harron, in which Sir Ben Kingsley takes on the role of famed Spanish surrealist painter Salvador Dali, while controversial actor Ezra Miller from the upcoming Flash plays a young Dali in flashback scenes.
Yeah, I don't know if any of them are necessarily going to crack the top 5.
No.
Let's see what's coming out in streaming. What people could stream this weekend, Rich?
Coming out on streaming is Flamin Hot. This will be on Hulu and Disney Plus. This is Ava Longoria's featured directorial debut about the inspirational true story of a janitor at Frito-Lay who ended up inventing the iconic Flamin Hot Cheetos. Also coming out and on streaming is Avatar: The Way of Water. James Cameron's blockbuster sequel makes its streaming debut this week, both on Disney Plus and Max, formerly known as HBO Max. It will also include bonus features. And finally coming out on streaming is Renfield, which will be on Peacock. This is the Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage horror comedy that sadly fizzled at the box office.
Yeah, I mean, Renfield was a movie that I think for a good reason didn't do well in box office. I mean, it wasn't my favorite.
Really bad movie.
Yeah, it sucked. What's your feelings about Flamin Hot? This is kind of a big deal for Hulu and Disney Plus. A movie of there's a Fox Searchlight film. And it's coming out on both of these streaming sites.
I think it's directed like it was a TV movie, and
yeah, like a sitcom. But it seems like a fun story, and I'm gonna check it out. But it does look like very kind of it does the direction seems. Yeah, kind of like what Richard was saying. It looks like television, but I also feel it almost looks like a sitcom also.
Yeah, and I kind of like the story if it's actually true, but
there has been some controversy about the story, about the accuracy of the story, about how if this guy really maybe boasted his story a little bit, maybe. To be fair, I don't even really care who invented the Flaming Hot Cheetos. I don't know if that was the greatest accomplishment in the world.
Yeah.
Look, people just loves a rags to riches story. It's kind of like ingrained in American culture. And so with that aspect, I think people are going to most likely enjoy this film.
Well, that's why I wish it would look a little bit better, and it didn't have that much of a feel to it.
We don't even know. Maybe that's just a bad trailer. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, that's true. Well,
it did get some good buzz when it opened in Southwest. When it opened in South by Southwest, it did have some good buzz. It's funny. It does follow this current trend of of movies about the making of a brand. Mm-hmm. We saw that in Air. There was a Tetris movie.
Yeah. When we all just watched Blackberry recently, and same thing, and I think we also all recommend that movie. It's not doing well at the box office, so if it's playing near you, you should definitely check it out.
It's funny because I just heard the story about how Will Ferrell was cast to play John Madden. in the making of the John Madden video game. Like this trend is not going away anytime soon.
Hey, if they're good, I'm watching it.
Plus, I heard that Blackberry was also doing well on Apple iTunes already, so that's gotten to be word of mouth. So
I hope so, because that's such a great movie. That's just a fun movie. So everyone, maybe check out Flamin Hot, but definitely check out Blackberry. All right, that's it for us.
Maybe it'd be a good double feature.
Yeah, maybe. That's it for us. We have to go. Thank you for watching InsideFlix. We will come back next week. We'll see how well Transformers: The Rise of the Beast does in the box office, and we'll also talk about the new movies coming out next week. All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Cool.